21 pull-ups was something I did in the military, would not have dreamed of doing it in my late 30s, and can easily do it now, maybe more. Every one of my clients, I ask them specifically, they don't have to tell me the numbers, but I need to know that they know their testosterone and estrogen levels. Do you ever go over that?
No, I don't. I mean, I tell guys to get that checked if they feel that they need to get it checked. I've never gotten mine checked because I don't feel like I have that issue. One thing I do know is a lot of guys who have low testosterone, if they have that issue, it can commonly stem from being inactive.
Right.
So if you're not a person who's working out and getting your exercise in and lifting weights and doing squats or getting your cardio in, that can really affect it. But that's as far as I know about testosterone.
Yeah, I found that to be, I'm 44. That's probably the most life-changing decision I made in like the last 2 years was test.
Was what, to get a test?
To get on test. Yeah, I was down in the 300, something like that, and I got back up to 900, and I feel like I'm 19 again. So that part is pretty crazy. A legal testosterone replacement therapy from a doctor. I'm not talking about taking anabolic steroids, but there's just
what's the difference?
All right, so if you take regular test will get you. So let's just say, I'm just going to throw out a number here. Your test was probably 850 when you were 19, and then once you cross around somewhere between 38 and 35, somewhere in that area, your testosterone levels are going to plummet. And that's why you see a lot of guys putting on a lot of weight at that period. And I noticed, I woke up one day when I was 39, and I just like everything hurt, and I just noticed like I thought I had the flu for a year. I didn't understand what was wrong. I finally talked to a doctor, I went to a guy to talk about it. And so personal records, for instance, probably the most I've ever bench pressed was 315 pounds. Couldn't do it. That was something I did in high school, maybe in college. And then now at 38, I can't do it. I started taking tests, and I wanted to get my levels not super high, but back to where they were when I was 19. So I know that my kidneys and my body can deal with that level of testosterone. I got up to 900, and I'm everything from a muscular standpoint or a performance standpoint that I could do when I was 19, I can do again now. Now, I still have a 44-year-old frame, like fucked up knees and stuff like that. But from the other standpoint, sleeping and all this other kind of stuff, obviously sex drive and the ability to just move massive amounts of weight. Like I've never been this strong before. Been able to do that is just been absolutely fantastic. Now, when you go into anabolics, now we're going above 850 free testosterone into 12, 13, 1400. Now we're going into 2000. Now we're talking about guys on anabolic steroids. They're taking Tren, they're taking Deca, all this other kind of stuff. And one of the problems is
those guys are raising their testosterone to the roof.
To the roof.
You're just adding a little bit more to what you have.
Correct. So like probably the best that nature could have given me is what I do without having any sort of medical side effects. When you get to that super high level, there's a few problems that go on. Like for instance, your body fat will convert testosterone into estrogen. So a lot of guys, I've met people that are in their mid 30s that are morbidly overweight. When they go get their test and estrogen check, their estrogen levels are higher than their testosterone levels in some cases. And so because they're turning their testosterone into, it's this deadly cycle that causes them to become more fat. Also, if you start taking tests, a lot of them, they don't put you on an estrogen blocker initially, and you see these guys having these like really weird mood swings that happen because their estrogen levels are at just like ridiculously high levels. And also, this therapy doesn't work for women because women, like for instance, a woman at a high level, their free test might be at 100, whereas mine is going to be at 900. That's a pretty significant difference. But I will tell you, and also there's other things like HCG that you need to take in order to stop testicular atrophy and stuff like that. And I just like, it's just night and day difference. But when you see these guys go up into like the 2000s, 2500, where they're taking massive amount of anabolics, it's really hard now to block any of that from turning into estrogen. And then that's when you see the male pattern balding, you see the acne on the back, you see the man boobs, all those kind of things happening. You see the massive shrinking of the testicles, and then you also, in some cases, see erectile dysfunction. That's what happens from the abuse of the testosterone and the anabolic. So there's a middle ground, and that's why guys cycle on and cycle off and that kind of stuff. I will tell you, I think there is testosterone's like vitamin C. If you don't have enough vitamin C, you get scurvy. But if you have too much vitamin C, then it just stops working for you. It doesn't really do anything. I think testosterone is like, if it's too low, it's a miracle cure. But if you get, like, for instance, I met guys in their 32 years old with free testosterone in the 200s. And I was like, dude, how did your urologist not freak the fuck out when that happened? He's like, oh, no, she said, I'm in a normal range. You're in a normal range for a 70-year-old man. It's like, you're not in a normal range if you want to have sex with your girlfriend. That's ridiculous. And he talked about it. He was like losing like motivation for life. Another thing, Trip, I'm going to say, there is a massive amount of men in their 50s committing suicide. This number is skyrocketing, and I personally believe it has to do with low testosterone. It's just my personal opinion.
How do they test? Is it through blood or urine or what?
Your testosterone? Yeah, you're going to go there, and they're going to take blood out of your arm. and then they're going to give you 2 numbers. Another problem is urologists will give you your test numbers and not your estrogen numbers. That has to stop. You really need to get your estrogen levels checked as a man. There needs to be like a healthy balance that you want. And one of the things is if you go to a TRT doctor versus going to a urologist, you're going to find that the urologist is just there to keep you healthy, and the TRT doctor wants you to perform. And those are 2 different things, but they're both doctors and they're both looking out for your best interest just in different ways. So this is a huge study of emphasis that I've had over the last couple of years because of the massive change that I've seen in me. And I've seen no like,
what do they give you, a pill, or what is it?
No, I get a needle in my butt every Friday. As soon as I leave here, I'm going to clinic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Every Friday.
Every Friday. Some people do twice a week. I have a buddy of mine who's 77 years old. He gets a fast-acting test shot 7 days a week in his butt.
Damn.
And then you're gonna get an HCG shot, and then you're gonna take an estrogen blocker, which is a pill. I have a little pill cutter because I take a very small amount. And yeah, man, it's night and day.
And it's all safe.
Yeah, it's all safe because there's more than 10 million men in the U.S. that are taking it right now. It's not cheap, especially with HCG. It's not cheap. And there's a federal law that makes
what does it run?
Anywhere from $200 to $300 a month, depending on how much you're taking.
Got it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not inexpensive.
So this is why I'm getting tired halfway through my workout.
I mean, that could be it. I will tell you, man, like, again, 21 pull-ups was something I did in the military, would not have dreamed of doing it in my late 30s, and can easily do it now, maybe more. Like the difference is night and day. The health effects, they don't really, again, this is a level of test that I had in my body when I was 19. So this is not some foreign object that I'm bringing to myself. A lot of times, Trip, we'll have a client, you'll have a client, or I'll have a client, and that is the problem. We don't know what the problem is. They start talking about self-esteem issues and issues with women and erectile dysfunction and trauma when they're younger. And a lot of the problem actually stems from a lack of confidence that comes from testosterone. Also, I know several men who have quit taking Adderall because they got on testosterone because my ability to focus is also better. So I can't recommend it enough. If you don't have it, you need to see a doctor first. I'm not telling you guys to go take steroids. But yeah, it's just been a pretty huge difference for me because a lot of people don't believe I'm 44 years old, and that has a lot to do with it.
Damn. Almost convinced me.
Yeah, I mean, I want to tell you to go check it out. I'm not telling you to go take it. For some people, they don't want to take it. I will.
I mean, you got to see what's going on. You got to see the doctor about it and see if you even need it and what's going on.
One of the great things, I can pretty much eat anything I want now. It's pretty crazy.
What do you mean by that?
Like I used to eat McDonald's and I was fucked up for like 2 days and I'd feel bloated and gross. Now I eat McDonald's and I'm just burning fat so fast that it's just like it's not even an issue. Not that I eat McDonald's all the time. I'm just saying when I eat bad, the effects, it feels like more like when I was 19. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does. Yep.